Good morning, students. In the previous video, we have started the chapter 8, the case of sharp-eyed jeweler. So this is a chapter of about a person who is a jewelry assistant, who is a jeweler's assistant, and he uses his eyes and ears more than us and his common sense at its fullest. So here he is telling us about an incident that has occurred one morning when he was arranging the jewelry in the display windows. He saw a woman. You can see in the picture he was looking at a woman while arranging the things in the window, that she was standing somewhere outside of the shop. So, and what do you think she was staring at? It was quite surprising that woman was standing there, because that shop is an undertaker's, and is the window there was nothing but two urns for holding the ashes of the dead and some photographs of grave stones. So there was a shop in which urns for keeping the dead one's ashes were sold, and gravestones, pictures of gravestones were also there. She was looking at those pictures and those urns. It was quite surprising. Her interest in such things struck me as very strange. So it seemed to me very strange. The thought crossed my mind that someone dear to her had died. So I started thinking that someone near and dear of her had died. That's why she was staring those things. But she was not wearing black or any other sign of mourning. But the thing author is saying, or the narrator is saying, but she was not wearing any black color, the sign of mourning. What is the meaning of that black color or the sign of mourning? Because in western countries, people used to wear black when someone dies. It is a sign of mourning. She was in fact wearing a bright yellow coat with a vivid zigzag pattern running all over it, and yellow sandals. So you can see in the picture her clothes and her sandals. They were not showing any sign of mourning. I had finished arranging the jewels in the window and was still keeping one eye on the young woman when a man came into our shop. So, I had just finished my work, but I was looking for that woman also who was standing over there. At that time, at that time, a person, a person came to my shop. So it was immediately plain to me that he was an American, one of gum chewing American. So he was chewing a gum at that time. So he recognized him as American. And American is the easiest of all to pick out. So he was thinking that we can recognize Americans in a very easy way. An American is the easiest of all to pick out. There is his haircut also, his tie in so many bright colors, and then so often you find him chewing that dreadful chewing gum. So these are the features you can find out in any American. He was a big, strong built man with a red face that showed he drank more than was good for him. His suit was a darkish grey, but his tie was a mixture of exceedingly bright colors. I took him to be about 35 years old. So, this was a quick observation of jewelry assistant, jeweler's assistant. It was a quick observation of him about that man. Good morning, sir, I said. May I help you? Then he started his work of attending the customer. Well, he said, rolling the gum round his mouth and speaking with a strong Yankee accent, I would like to look at some rings. So here he asked that, do you want, what can I do for you? And may I help you? He asked. Then American said, yes, I want to have a ring for my wife. Certainly, sir. Is there any particular kind you have in mind? So he asked, do you like something special that I should show you? But the American said, no, I don't have any particular choice, just show me some rings. I opened the safe and took out a tray of rings to show him and to get some idea of what he wanted. So, what I did, I opened the safe, I took out some rings, trays I took out, so that I can get the idea what kind of ring he wanted. He picked out two or three of them and asked the price of them. So he took out two or three rings and he asked the price. I noticed that he was left handed. So while he was doing so, I noticed that he was left handed. It was clear that he knew nothing at all about precious stones and the nature of their settings. So, from his behavior while he was checking the rings, it was quite clear that he did not have any idea about the precious stones and how they are being set. The price was the measure by which he judged them. So he was judging those piece of jewelry only by the price, nothing else. There was one most beautiful ring with diamonds and rubies set in a shape of flowers. So it was the most beautiful ring in which ruby was there in the middle and diamonds was there around that ruby stone in a shape of flower. It was well over 300 years old and had been in a possession of a royal family. So this ring was 300 years old and it was a collection of a royal family. Mr. Rayner had set a very high price on it because he did not really wish to sell it. So Mr. Rayner, he liked this so much. He liked the ring so much that he did not want to sell it. So he has put up such a high price on it. There are, Mr. Rayner was like that. He was saying he was like that only. There were some of his jewels that he loved as much as his learned loved his children. So many pieces of jewelry were there. He loved those pieces of jewelry as he loved his children. So this was the nature of Mr. Rayner. The American preferred this flower ring to all the others, but he complained that the price was too high. So the American, he liked that flower ring because that was so beautiful, but he was not satisfied with the price. So he asked कि आप मुझे और दिखा दीजिए. He asked to see some other rings and I showed him three more trays, but he was still unsatisfied. So I showed him three more trays, but still there wasn't any ring he liked. His eye then fell on a fourth tray which was still inside the safe whose door I had left open. I guess I would better take a look at those as well, he said. So, fourth tray was also there in the safe, so he asked the assistant to show those rings also. I made then. I turned to take the tray out of the safe and then turned quickly back again to put the tray on the counter. So he did so in a very quick manner. He took out the tray and put the tray on the counter. It was then I saw that the diamond and ruby ring had disappeared. So at that time, I just noticed that diamond and ruby ring has disappeared. I made a sign to Miss Suskind, another assistant, and she came and stood beside me. Then I said to the American, I see that you have decided on the flower ring. Sir, if you will kindly hand it to me, I will find a suitable box for it. Then I found out that something was wrong. That ring was not there. So I made a sign of calling to Miss Suskind. She came to me and she stood beside me. And then I टॉक टू दैट अमेरिकन दैट आई थिंक आपने भाई डिसाइड कर लिया है दैट यू आर गोइंग टू बाय दैट रिंग ओनली, दैट रूबी रिंग. प्लीज सर गिव मी दैट रिंग सो दैट आई कैन फाइंड अ suitable for box for the ring. I held out my hand for the ring. So I held out my hand means मैंने अपना हाथ आगे कर दिया रिंग के लिए. Then students, today up to here only we will study. Rest of the chapter we will study afterwards. So students, revise the chapter thoroughly. Thank you and have a nice day.